All right, as promised, more on this Sens victory with our TSN hockey analyst, Mike Johnson. First of all, it's great to have you here in studio, buddy.
You know why? I always want to come here. Every time I'm in the building, I try to get to this desk, so I'm happy it worked out.
We're happy to have you here. You know, when Drake Batherson took that 4-minute penalty on Saturday night, Game 4, in overtime, I think a lot of us were thinking,
it's over.
This is it for the pesky Sens, the new pesky Sens. Pesky Sens are back in a big way. How have they gotten themselves back in this series?
Well, I mean, I think you mentioned that moment. I think the special teams have tipped in their favor.
Right.
The penalty killing has gotten so much better. They've also got a couple of shorthanded goals in the last 2 games while also killing 7 straight power plays. The Leafs power play was a big part of them winning the first 3 games. The Sens penalty kill, a big part of them winning the last couple. And Linus Ullmark, I mean, say what you want, Linus Ullmark is a goalie who, when he gets hot, can get scalding hot for long stretches. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game runs when he's right and he's going. And it looks like he's getting more comfortable, more confident, and better, which is a great sign for Ottawa. Not so good if you're Toronto.
Speaking of not so good if you're Toronto, and this is the stat that everyone's talking about, 1 in 13 in closeout games since 2018. Why does this particular group, in your opinion, have so much trouble finishing the job?
Well, one of them is the power play. I don't know if they've scored a power play goal in those 13 games. Like, it's been so long, they just don't score enough goals during these moments.
Why? Why is it? You think of the personnel, it's bewildering.
It's tough to say, oh, it's because I'm not comfortable saying, oh, they choke or the moment's too big for them.
Yeah.
They're obviously doing their best. They're playing good teams. They have played good teams in the Atlantic last several years, teams that have gone on to win Stanley Cups or gone to the finals. So competition has something to do with it. But it's got to be more than that, because the same guys who do it all regular season, who do it at different moments in the playoffs, just can't quite find it. And again, in Game 5, that is one of the storylines for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah. Not just that they lost. Of course they're trying. Of course they're working hard. They did have a couple chances. But at the end of the game, their best players weren't good enough to help push them over the finish line and finish the series. And at this point, maybe it's not so much about why, but how much does it weigh on the Toronto Maple Leaf guys, their most important players who have been here through all of these runs, the big 4-4s, Morgan Riley, whatever it might be. Does it bother them? Do they think about it the next 2 days? Does it bother them on Thursdays? Does it inhibit them from being their best because there's been so many instances where they've tried and it hasn't worked?
And yet the power play worked well in the regular season. Is it just the Ottawa Senators being better on the penalty kill? Should we be putting more focus on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Sens deserve a lot of credit. They make adjustments. They've gotten tighter around the front of the net. They're doing a better job of being ready right off faceoffs, which the Toronto Maple Leafs took advantage of. They're doing a better job up ice, limiting the entries with control. They've gotten better. But part of the answer is when you're on the power play for the other team, if you're supposed to be one of the best players in the world, and the Leafs have several players like that, you have to find solutions with your coaching staff, but amongst yourselves on how to solve. Now, the first power play in Game 5, Toronto had, it was only a minute and 10 because they took a penalty. They had 6 shots. They had a ton of chances, a ton of looks. But then after that, it did get a little slow. So, yes, you always have to give credit to the opposition. Ottawa's done a great job, but sometimes watch the Edmonton Oilers power play. Doesn't matter what the other guys do. When you do it so well, you can take advantage.
So this Ottawa Senators team has a chance to become just the 11th team in history to force a Game 7 after being 3-0
Just to force one.
Just
not even
to
to win
force
one.
it. Yeah, that's right. Just to
you don't
force
even get
it.
only 11
That
teams
stat
ever have gotten to Game 7.
Just to get to Game 7. They have a chance to do that Thursday night. Will they do that Thursday night?
I think if Ullmark plays this well, you'd have to think like their chances.
Right.
I mean, you can't act like the series. Yes, the Leafs were up 3-0. But there are 4 games. There was 3 overtime games. The Game 1 was a bit of a blow, largely power play driven for Toronto. The next 3 games were anyone could have won. So to think that the Leafs will comfortably go in there and respond and answer and get an easy win, I don't think that's the case. If the Leafs win, it'll be close. So I would say, given that the Sens are at home, given that they have a bit of momentum, given the track record of the Toronto Maple Leafs in these moments, I would say it's more likely than not that Ottawa becomes the 12th team to ever force a Game 7 after being down 0-3.
Very quickly, you're Craig Berube. Do you make some lineup changes? Yes.
Nick Robertson comes in. Max Pacioretty probably goes out. Max has been out of the lineup a while. He played well his first game. Last couple, maybe not the same legs. We've seen Robertson come in and provide a spark after getting scratched at different points in the year. He's faster. I think you just need a little bit more injection of pace. He'll give you that.
I can't believe I'm asking this, but the goaltending situation.
No,
do you dare go to Wool?
No. The Stars gave up 2. One was a 2-on-1 backdoor. One was another screenshot. You'd love a block or a box out. But no, He's certainly been fine. He's not the reason. And I think if he did go that way, not because Joseph Woll's not excellent, because he can be, it might signal a little bit of a panic decision. So I think he's going to stay the course. The Leafs have talked all year that this year they're different. They're built different. They play different. They're going to be different. We'll find out in the next game or two.
Game 6, Thursday night. This guy will be in studio. No, you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm here for the duration of the series.
Yes.